Dear learners, Assalamu alaikum. I wholeheartedly invite all of you to watch the video. Introduction. Our today's topic is MCQs, including exercise 14 1 to 6 on probability, part 3. Learning outcomes. At the end of this class, the learners will be able to answer all the questions on probability, including exercise 14 1 to 6 of the types. Number 1, simple MCQs. Number 2, multiple completion MCQs. And number 3, situation set MCQs. Main speech on the topic. MCQ 1, what is the probability of getting 3 in the throw of a dice? If a dice is thrown, then the sample space is set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Therefore, number of all possible outcomes is equal to 6. Event is equal to set of 3 only. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is 1. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 1 by 6. That's why correct answer is option A. A ball is drawn at random from a bag containing 12 blue, 16 white, and 20 black balls. Answer 2 to 4. MCQ 2. What is the probability that the ball is blue? Total number of balls is equal to 12 plus 16 plus 20 is equal to 48. Therefore, number of all possible outcomes is equal to 48. Number of blue balls is equal to 12. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 12. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 12 by 48. 12 is a common factor between 12 and 48. That's why we can write 1 instead of 12 and 4 instead of 48 is equal to 1/4. That's why our correct answer is option B. MCQ 3. What is the probability that the ball is not white? Number of balls which are not white is equal to 12 plus 20 is equal to 32. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 32. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 32 by 48. 16 is a common factor between 32 and 48. That's why you can write 2 instead of 32 and 3 instead of 48 is equal to 2/3. That's why our correct answer is option A. MCQ 4. What is the probability that the ball is blue or white? Number of balls which are blue or white is equal to 12 plus 16 is equal to 28. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 28. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 28 by 48. 4 is a common factor between 28 and 48. That's why we can write 7 instead of 28 and 12 instead of 48 is equal to 7 by 12. That's why our correct answer is option D. A coin is tossed thrice. Answer 5 to 8. MCQ 5. What is the highest number of times of getting hit? If a coin is tossed thrice, then sample space is equal to set of HT cross set of HT cross set of HT is equal to set of HH, HT, TH, TT cross set of HT is equal to set of HH, H, HHT, HTH, HTT, THH, THT, TTH, TTT. We discussed about it in our previous class in detail. However, there is a single outcome H in which the number of times of getting hit is the highest, and it is 3 times. That's why our correct answer is option C. MCQ 6. What is the probability of getting T the least number of times? If a coin is tossed thrice, then the sample space is set of A's, 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 T, A's, T, A's, A's, T, 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 A's, A's, T, A's, T, 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 A's, T, T, T. Therefore, number of all possible outcomes is equal to 8. The least number of times of getting T is 1. It is not 0. If we consider 0, then you will never get T. The outcomes HHT, HTH, THH contain a single T. That's why event is set of HHT, HTH, THH. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 3. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 3 by 8. So, our correct answer is option D. MCQ 7. What is the probability of getting a head more number of times than getting a tail? Event is equal to set of A's, 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 T, A's, T, A's, T, A's, A's. As these outcomes contain the more number of times of getting hit than that of tail. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 4. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 4 by 8. 4 is a common factor between 4 and 8. Thus, you can write 1 instead of 4 and 2 instead of 8 is equal to half. Our correct answer is option C. MCQ 8. What is the probability of getting T 0 number of times? Event is set of A's, because the outcome A's contains no T. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 1. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 1 by 8. Our correct answer is option B. MCQ 9. In the case of throwing 2 coins, 1. Probability of getting at most one is equal to 0.75. 2. Probability of getting at least one is equal to 0.75. 3. Is a sample point. Which one of the following is correct? A 1, B 1 and 2, C 2 and 3, D 1, 2 and 3. Let us find out the correct answer. If 2 coins are thrown together, then the sample space is set of A's is T, T is TT. Therefore, number of all possible outcomes is equal to 4. In case of at most one age, we should exclude the outcome containing more than one age, and it is the outcome age. That's why event is equal to set of T, T is TT. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 3. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 3 by 4 is equal to 0.75. 1 is correct. In case of at least one age, we should exclude the outcome containing no age, and it is the outcome TT. That's why event is equal to set of A's, T, TH. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 3. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 3 by 4 is equal to 0.75. Is also correct. Age is sample point. That's why 3 is also correct. As a result, our correct answer is option D. MCQ 10. What is the probability of getting tail most number of times of tossing a coin twice? If a coin tossed twice, then the most number of times of getting tail is in the outcome TT. That's why event is equal to set of TT. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 1. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 1 by 4. Therefore, our correct answer is option A. MCQ 11. How many sample points are there in a sample space made by throwing an unbiased tetrahedron with surfaces A, B, C, and D twice? The number of sample points is an exponential number whose base is the number of surfaces and whose exponent is the number of throwings. That's why total number of sample points is equal to 4 square is equal to 16. Therefore, our correct answer is option D. MCQ 12. According to report of Chittagong Meteorological Office, it rained on 5 days in the first week of July 2013. What is the probability of not raining on 4th July? There are 7 days in a week. Therefore, number of all possible outcomes is equal to 7. There are 2 days of not raining in that week. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 2. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 2 by 7. That's why our answer is option B. MCQ 13. Probability derived from past experience or data is 1. Posteriori probability. 2. Database probability. 3. Tree probability. Which one is correct? A. 1. B. 1 and 2. C. 2 and 3. D. 1, 2 and 3. From the definition, tree probability is not correct here. That's why our answer is option B. MCQ 14. Probability tree is used to 1. Build the sample space. 2. Make the shape of a tree. 3. Find the probability of various events. Which one is correct? A. 1. B. 1 and 2. C. 1 and 3. D. 1, 2 and 3. From definition, 2. Make the shape of a tree is not correct. That's why our correct answer is option C. MCQ 15. The events having the probability 1 are 1. The sun will set in the west. 2. The sun will rise in the east. 3. The number 7 will be on a dice. Which one is correct? A. 1. B. 1 and 2. C. 2 and 3. D. 1, 2 and 3. 1. The sun will set in the west. It is a sure event and the probability of sure event is 1. That's why 1 is correct. 2. The sun will rise in the east. It is also a certain event or sure event. That's why 2 is correct. 3. The number 7 will be on a dice. It is an impossible event. Probability of an impossible event is 0. That's why 3 is not correct. Therefore, our correct answer is option B. MCQ 16. The events having the probability 0 are 1. The earth does not move around the sun. 2. The sun sets in the east. 3. Any one of head and tail will be on a coin. Which one is correct? A. 1. B. 1 and 2. C. 2 and 3. D. 1, 2 and 3. The earth does not move around the sun. It is an impossible event. And the probability of an impossible event is 0. That's why 1 is correct. Sun sets in the east. It is also an impossible event. That's why 2 is correct. 3. Any one of head and tail will be on a coin. It is a sure event. And the probability of sure event is 1. That's why 3 is not correct here. Therefore, our correct option is B. By throwing 64 times of a coin, we find head 36 times. Answer 17 to 18. MCQ 17. What is the relative frequency number of head? Let us find out the correct answer. Here total number of throwings 64 and number of obtaining head 36. Therefore, required relative frequency number is equal to 36 by 64 is equal to 0.563. That's why our correct answer is option C. MCQ 18. What is the relative frequency number of tail? Let us find out the correct answer. Here, number of obtaining tail, 64 minus 36 is equal to 28. Therefore, required relative frequency number is equal to 28 by 64 is equal to 0.438. That's why our correct answer is option B. MCQ 19. What is the probability of getting the same outcomes in the throw of a dice twice? Total number of sample points is equal to 6 square is equal to 36. Therefore, number of all possible outcomes is equal to 36. Event is equal to set of 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. These are the sample points of getting the same outcomes. Therefore, number of favorable outcomes is equal to 6. Therefore, required probability is equal to number of favorable outcomes by number of all possible outcomes is equal to 6 by 36. 6 is a common factor between 6 and 36. That's why we can write 1 instead of 6 and 6 instead of 36 is equal to 1 by 6. Therefore, our correct answer is option A. If you have any query after watching the video, please let me know. The answer of your question will be given very quickly with utmost sincerity. With this, I conclude here. Thanks. Best of luck.